Hi Chris, how are you?
Good evening, Rod. Here we go. It's the 24th of September. It's 2025. We're going to have a short show because you're due to go out for dinner. You're in a hotel room recording onto your voice recorder on your phone with your AirPods on using, I think, an iPad or a Linux machine. What could go wrong? And I'm driving the show notes, which I've got on the screen for everybody to see.
So there's many firsts, frankly, at this point. I think there's an air conditioner on in the background. Normally you've got your heater. My weather is definitely hot and muggy, whereas yours is?
It's all right.
Is it Barcelona all right, though?
No, it's not Barcelona, obviously. I am in the Cotswolds. It's starting to get a little bit nippy at night, and I'm going to go and light the fire as soon as we're finished.
Light a fire? Oh, I couldn't imagine it. Like I say, I got the air conditioner on. It's a good 19 degrees here, and it is, 8 o'clock at night, I think.
8 o'clock at night. Yeah, you're in a different time zone, aren't you? You're an hour ahead, so it's 20 past 7 here.
It is. Hopefully there's something salvageable from this. Should we crack on and do some news?
Let's do it.
So, first in the news, and you'll need to open the links up for me, Chris, so I can see them as well, is that we've had a few issues with Disney, haven't we? Apparently, they cancelled Jimmy Kimmel. It was the first thing that they did, and the whole internet went out and cancelled their Disney Plus subscriptions. And Disney, as a response to this is following the FCC in America, saying that Disney had to take down Jimmy Kimmel. I don't know how familiar you are with some of this kind of stuff, but this is what happened, that they cancelled Jimmy Kimmel, people cancelled the subscriptions, and then Disney went back on it. And after that, none of this is in here, don't worry, Chris, I'm kind of freewheeling a little bit, don't panic. After all that, they increased their subscriptions, so yay Disney.
You brought it back around to where I was going in the show notes. It's been a bit of a weird week, hasn't it? Getting cancelled, and like you say, everybody voting with their feet, which I can get behind, people voting with their feet. And then, Disney have just come back out and go, well, we're going to put our prices up anyway. So sod you all. So, very, very bizarre turn of events. I just put this in here at the last minute because all the streaming platforms are going up. And more people I speak to are cancelling streaming platforms and doing more of what I've been doing, where just get them for a month, binge what you want, cancel it, because I just don't think there's enough good stuff on there. I remember a time when you could buy Disney for like £100 here in the UK for the entire year, and that to me was pretty good value, whereas not feeling it at the minute.
No, I think it's fair to say not feeling it. I mean, they have got some good content on there. I watch What We Do in the Shadows. I watch a load of their movies. Obviously, it's good for the kids. Hopefully, you're still in your Marvel run-through, unless the kids have got fed up with it. We
got to Iron Man 2, so it shows you how far we got in the Marvel run-through.
It's a really bad film as well. It's possibly the worst Marvel film.
Because Elon Musk's in it, or just because it's generally rubbish?
No, I think it's just a really bad film. I'm trying to think of the other one that's really bad as well. Thor 2 is also pretty bad.
Right, okay. No, so we've paused the Marvel run-through at the moment because Bake Off is back.
We're sort of straying into media here, aren't we? Anyway, you're going to be paying more for your Disney. Jimmy Kimmel is no longer cancelled, but might be again, because I think he came back straight with a rant. So, interesting times for media. Yeah,
agreed on that one. Interesting is the word, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Should we move on?
We're moving on. So we've now got, here's a link you've put in the show notes, how a potential atomic credential stealer is finding its way into Macs.
I think this is just a PSA as much as anything else, that for a long time in Macland, we have thought that we're invulnerable to these kinds of malware and things like that. And unfortunately, this isn't the case at this point. It appears that there's a credential stealer called Atomic that's out there and is a hazard, and it can clickjack you as well. It's not your usual, you've got to install a password and all the rest of it. It's just a raising awareness thing. So just to be super cautious out there, folks, that once again, LastPass is involved with this. So there was a LastPass ad on a particular website that was being highlighted as part of this, and clicking on what you thought was a legitimate ad to LastPass would let you get out there and steal your credentials, and that's bad times.
Yeah, LastPass for me is I wouldn't rush to use it, and B, I think you're right, Mac users, myself included, generally feel like we're in more of an ivory tower. And this just demonstrates that we should still be very vigilant because we can still be impacted by malware.
Absolutely. So I also ditched LastPass. Well, as soon as the last credential stealing thing went on in there, I don't know why anyone would trust them at this point.
I think that's a fair comment. I'm amazed they're still in business, to be fair.
Yeah. Moving on, our next story is about Apple working on a model context protocol model for agentic AI. So we've talked about this a little bit in the past. We've talked about this is kind of becoming the standard of how you join AI models together. it's a bit like the MVC controller was, for those that are familiar with that, model view controller, which became sort of the de facto standard for programming. But Apple are going to enable MCP or something like it for the various models that will be available for Apple Intelligence moving forward. So it's a story in 9 to 5 Mac from earlier this week, where Anthropic, who are obviously one of the major model vendors, is that what we call them these days? Model agents? I don't know.
Heavily financed companies trying to make billions.
Yeah, that could apply to most of the companies we talk about
That's
right
fair.
now.
That's fair, actually.
So AI assistant vendors are going to be part of this. So, I mean, it's interesting Apple are going to build these things into the iPhone. I guess they've got to keep up with the state of the art, but I still maintain my reservations for how these things come together.
I think I'm with you. I think what is good here, though, is Apple are up in their game. They've obviously been burnt badly, and they're not just ploughing on as they were. They are trying to work with others, like we've seen in Xcode, and they are trying to prove their position, obviously, which they've got to do. And there's not really been much in iOS 26 or in the 26.1 beta, which we'll get to in a minute, but it's interesting that they are doing a lot behind the scenes. It certainly feels like it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We did say this was going to be a short show. We're going to rattle through the stories, but you've got an iPhone 17, I believe, Chris.
I have an iPhone 17 here in my pocket.
I've touched an iPhone 17 and in that colour that Chris is, you won't be able to see in the video because there'll be no video this week, but it's orange. It's an iPhone 17 Pro. But I sent you a video from Jerry Rig Everything that there's a bit of a scandal. There's a scratch gate going on with the iPhone 17, yeah?
I believe there is. My 14-year-old son asked me exactly the same question. Dad, have you scratched your iPhone? I've had it since Friday. And it's been caseless in my pocket and there's not one mark on it. So there you go.
Did you put anything in your pocket?
No, it always goes for years my phone goes in a pocket with nothing else. There is obviously pocket lint, which goes in the port, but there is nothing else in my pocket.
So the Jerry Rig Everything video, he demonstrates, and he uses a microscope, it's quite well done, I got to say, of just running coins over the edge, the chamfered edge of the camera. What do we call it? Plateau. It's not a mesa, it's a plateau. So the whole back of the phone. And it's a very well, I want to say anodized, but I don't think that's the right word. It's a very well covered metallic back on the aluminium, not aluminium that's on there. But the very edge of the device, the chamfer, isn't well machined, and he zooms in with a microscope to show that, and then lightly runs a coin across the edge. And it's that part, the machining of it is poor, and the coverage, anodization for want of a better word, is poor, and that's where they're scratching. And this story that we're talking about from Engadget is that the iPhone 17 models are very prone to visible scratches. The rest of the back, both the extra glass bit on the Ceramic Shield 2 is very, very good, but it's just that edge around the camera mesa plateau that's a problem.
That's interesting. Like I say, I've not experienced it myself. I do try and look after my phone. I'm very careful, like I don't want to drop it. I think it's actually incredibly well made from what I've seen, but I am not an expert. But I've had it 4 days and I haven't broken it, so I'm doing all right thus far.
I think we'll pop the Jerry Rig Everything link in the show notes. It is in the Engadget article. Engadget article that is linked as well. So but I think it's another thing. Be careful out there, frankly, that. This is another potential gate that's coming along here. Most people are careful with their phones. Most people put their phones in a case, I think it's fair to say. So they're not going to experience this. But if you do go caseless, then this could be an issue for you.
I think the majority of people, this is a non-event. They will be in a case. So I just don't think it's going to be an event. And if you spend £1,000 on something, you're probably going to try and look after it.
But you're caseless.
I'm stupid. What can I say?
It's a lot of money in your pocket to have a bit of a scratch on it.
I'm all right with it. I don't mind. I think I'll be all right with it. My last phone, I didn't case it, and I've just passed it on to my son, and it's in really good nick.
Okay, moving on. We like to talk about NASes a little bit on this show, and we've talked about Synology NASes and the issues that we're getting faced them with incompatibility with drives, and we're seeing things around graphics drivers and them not supporting some of the later sort of Docker containers and things like that for doing video transcoding. I mooted the fact that my Synology NAS was a great thing, so my network attached storage. They've just released a whole bunch of new models, from a 2 drive to a 4 drive to an 8 drive NAS. Featured in the show notes is the 2 drive, looks a bit like a router. But if you're in the market for a network attached storage that works at a reasonable way, 3.5-inch drives, I just think this is a fantastic looking little device.
Ubiquiti makes some great stuff, don't they? I'd like to get into the Ubiquiti world. I am worried once I get into it, though, will they then turn the screws like Synology have done. I hope not. They don't seem to be that sort of company. They make great looking stuff, very Apple-esque looking stuff, I think. Really nice, and the software seems incredibly well thought out.
Well, it's Apple engineers founded the company, and you can tell.
That would explain it.
Yeah, and this is a really interesting device in the sense that, it's only 2 drives, so you're going to have a mirror, so you could put 2 18-terabyte drives in there and have a backed-up 18-terabyte drive. RAID is not a backup, I hasten to add, but, a reasonable level of redundancy. That's a better word.
It's a form of redundancy, isn't it?
Yeah. And this runs over PoE, so you can power it with a USB-C thing if you want to, but if you have a sufficient switch, you can run this over power over Ethernet, and that's super cool.
Yeah, that is cool. I think that is where the world is going, isn't it? I like that.
Totally. So I just think it's an interesting device. It seems to perform well. Ubiquiti's NAS software isn't as full-featured as a Synology or a QNAP, but if what you want is to make an SMB share and have access to that from anywhere in the world with decent security, this is a good place to be.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, and that's all I use mine for, largely, is for backing up. So,
well, and you and I share this show to my Ubiquiti NAS every week.
Yeah, that's true. I'd forgot about that. Yeah, of course we do. That's
so it's a big deal. It's part of our workflow. Do you want to tell us about iOS 26.1?
This is extremely brief. I thought the 0.1 might actually bring some interesting stuff, because the beta period, nothing really changed in the beta period, did it? They locked in this new design and they didn't really do anything else. But basically iOS 26.1 is out in beta format and it's just gone public now. And there's not really a lot in here. You can swipe to change your song. There's some little padding changes they've been doing. They've updated the scrubber for the video player. They've made the keypad glassy. They've just done a few things, but no real new functionality. So I wouldn't rush to update. I would stay on the main version that is released, because I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And being as I've completely messed up the show notes and gone straight into news rather than follow-up, we should probably do the follow-up now.
We can go back to follow-up if you want.
I think we should. I can, maybe through the magic of editing, I can fix that.
Magic, okay. So we've got, the US government is taking a second stab at breaking up Google. We thought they were going to break up Google, then we thought they weren't going to break up Google because it was ruled that Google will need to do pretty much nothing. And now they're going to have another go at breaking up Google. It seems very bizarre, this.
Yeah, it doesn't make an awful lot of sense, does it? It's. You feel they got it wrong in the original judgment, that this is what they want to do to try and sort of fix things?
I find the whole thing bizarre. Like, you've been through the process. You said you were going to do something. Then a judge ruled we're not going to do anything, and now you're going to go again. I don't know. And it's 8 weeks later or something. It's not very long.
Yeah, it's also a different judge. Crucially, I think Google feel they were hard done by in the first. Well, they didn't feel they were hard done by in the first judgment, but maybe they'll feel hard done by in this judgment. I don't know. It's one of those things we can't tell with the law. There seems to be always another appeal.
Yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it? I think, and oftentimes it's going to be a big deal and becomes a nothing. And I just worry that's going to be exactly what this is.
Well, I agree with you. I think it's a Nothingburger, as our American colleagues might say, that. There's a lot of noise. The only people that are going to benefit from this are lawyers, frankly. I don't think any of the companies, any citizens, any people who've been involved with it, as Google is a monopoly, it's going to make any difference.
Yeah, I agree with you here. I think, especially with the current president, they're going to want to keep their big tech companies going, aren't they?
They absolutely are. So our next story about the iPhone 17 Pro Max, apparently it's not using Apple's chips, and I don't know if we ever thought that it was using the new Modem Wi-Fi Bluetooth chip, but it's using Qualcomm chip again. It's
not using their cellular chip, but it is using their N1 for Bluetooth wireless. And the other thing, what's the other thing? Thread. Thread radio, yeah. And I must confess, I've had an issue with it disconnecting from CarPlay in one of my cars. Which I didn't get on my other phone, so I'm a little worried about that. But no, it's not got the custom C1X chip, so it's using the Qualcomm chip for 5G, which is interesting because you'd have thought they'd have put their own one in it if they could, but maybe they weren't that confident in getting it across all the devices this year.
Is this the differentiation for Pro, possibly?
Possibly, or maybe they've got to keep with Qualcomm, and trade out of their Qualcomm position over time. I don't know how that's going to work.
There was something related to the patent, wasn't there, for Apple to do this, that they had to keep using Qualcomm chips for a while. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's what this is.
And maybe they're more performant and they've got a bigger battery in the Pro, so they could afford to expel some of their battery time onto it.
Perhaps.
My piece of follow-up was very simple. I've touched an iPhone Air today, and I touched it in John Lewis here in the UK, which is really annoying because they put massive clamps around it, so you can't really feel what it's like. I thought the iPhone Air looked okay, but because they've used the same industrial design, it was a bit boring. It was a bit of a nothing experience, if I'm being honest, so I was a bit disappointed.
Oh, so that's our second Nothingburger of the episode, actually. I also watched the Jerry Rig. I also watched the Jerry Rig Everything teardown of this phone. Impressively strong, it must be said.
Yeah, no, I give them that, and it does look cool. But I think if they'd have made it look different and done something really different with it, you'd probably get people more excited. But because it just looks like a phone, it's just a bit dull, isn't it? I think they've just not done anything really exciting with the industrial design, which is a bit of a shame. I feel like they missed an opportunity.
I don't think they have. I think this is forward planning for a folding iPhone next year, and this is half of that.
Yeah, you could be right. I just think they could have just done something a bit more exciting with it, and I'm disappointed.
Fair enough. Nothing for Car Corner this week. Do you want to dive in and do some media?
Yeah, very briefly then on media. First one's you, I think.
First one's me. Talking about Disney shows. A Disney show I've enjoyed very much is The Mandalorian. The film of The Mandalorian is due next year, I think, so they've released a teaser for that. Mandalorian is a Boba Fett style character, although they did a Boba Fett show as well, featuring a mini Yoda as well called Grogu, and The Mandalorian and Grogu is coming soon, and it's quite a fun trailer, I guess.
Cool, and so that's coming May 26th, so we haven't got too long to wait for that, so... Yeah, I'm hoping that I'd like to take my youngest son, to see a Star Wars film in the cinema when it comes out, because he's not had that experience yet. So this could be a good opportunity for that.
I got to say, based on the trailer, the budget doesn't look great. It looks like an extended episode of the TV show.
Oh, okay. But we'll see if he's interested enough to come with me to the cinema to see it, because I love going to the cinema and I haven't been.
Have you watched any Mandalorian?
We did start watching it a long time ago, but he would have been, 10, and I think his attention span probably fell off a cliff pretty quick.
Maybe give it a go then. Moving on, the next thing is just something I thought was interesting in our sort of conglomeration of rating things with data and the fact that we talk about TV shows and how they're done on Rotten Tomatoes all the time. This is a ranking of the top TV shows of all time by a number of outcomes, so not just Rotten Tomatoes, but also IMDb and Just Watch and all those other things and how they rate. And actually, looking at the list, I pretty much agree with it. I would agree that Breaking Bad is near the top of my top shows of all time. I'd say the first few seasons of Game of Thrones are amongst my top TV shows of all time. Chernobyl is absolutely, possibly the best TV show of all time. And I just thought this was an interesting way of looking at things. And well done, Information is Beautiful for bringing all these together. What do you think of this list?
I think it's okay. I haven't seen, this will surprise you, but I've not seen the top two. But there's a big but. I can't see the Big Bang Theory, so I wonder whether this is actually working. Because for me, I think, whilst the Big Bang probably wouldn't be number one, I think for a comedy sitcom, it is very well done, and I'm disappointed it's not anywhere in this list.
I hear your Big Bang Theory. I would say it's a bit populist for a snooty list like this. However, the fact that Succession is very high, The Office is very high, I'd say Fleabag is very high. You've got some pretty solid comedies in this list.
No, I agree with you. I think there's some great stuff there. The fact, though, that Big Bang's not in the top 50 surprises me somewhat, I would say.
Wouldn't be in my top 50.
Oh, I love it. I'm sorry, I just love it. I think it's so good.
I mean,
I go back and watch it. I love it.
It's a very average TV show, where something like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which I think is superior to Big Bang Theory, isn't in this either. So I don't think it's necessarily a comedy list. If you think of shows that are meaningful, Mindhunter, which is, I think, 24, 25 on this list, is an absolutely superb TV show with only 2 seasons that will never get a third one, but is a classic of its time. Not many people would argue that Friends is considered one of the greatest TV shows of all time. It's on this list. I think it's solid.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can get behind some of it, I think, but I'm just disappointed Big Bang's not on there, because I think it should have been in the top 50. It would be my opinion.
Well, The Bear is at 40, and we both agree that's great.
Yeah, The Bear is fantastic. I've seen all of that. No, I think it's okay. Succession's in there, which is great. Office, is that the Office, the UK version or the US?
It'll be the US version.
Yeah, okay. Well, which is fair. Okay.
I am surprised some UK shows have done better. I mean, Fleabag is a fairly minor show in the UK. I mean, it's very influential, but it's not a Red Dwarf, and Red Dwarf's not on this list.
Yeah, that's true. So, I guess we have places in our hearts for some things, though.
We do, and that's it. I mean, and that's what I mean by the Big Bang Theory. Is it might be special to you, but it's not special to the world as a whole. I think it's a fairly for me, it's a funny but fluffy
that's fair.
comedy. Yeah.
And you introduced me to the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, and it's fun but fluffy, like I say.
That's fair.
Moving on, the morning show is back, apparently.
Continue with TV shows. This wasn't on the top 50 list, but actually the morning show is back for season 4. I'd forgotten this was happening. I've started watching it. Season 1 was episode 1 was okay. They've continued in the same universe, and they've done a good job, I think, of creating a little world and carrying on the story arcs through the seasons. I quite like the show. I know you haven't watched it, but actually I've enjoyed the 3 and a bit seasons I've watched. So it's back. It's not done very well. You got popcorn meter of 40%, so it's not great, is it? And there's only like 1 episode out, so that's not good. But I quite enjoyed it.
I gave up after episode 2. I'll never go back to it. I have no interest in it whatsoever.
Yeah, no, I can see it. It's not for everybody, but I can't understand why I like it, but I actually quite enjoy it, so I'm quite happy to watch a 4th season.
Wait, well, you're still happy with the Big Bang Theory as well. And last but not least, Slow Horses Season 5 is out today, so woo?
Yeah, Season 5's out. I'm looking forward to this. Apparently they've carried on in the same vein. I'm just trying to cast my mind back to what happens in the book, because I'm currently reading the 9th book, and this is based on the 5th book, so it was quite a while ago in the universe. So I think it'll be good. I'm looking forward to starting that.
So I was excited, and then I read the Guardian review of this season. It only gets 3 stars, and they say the problem with it is the last few seasons has been an absolute development of character, and you've got some amazing pairings of people.
Yep.
And they've killed off, like Min, I don't think I'm spoiling anything, is killed off in the 1st season. They killed off one of the other major characters in the last season. And they just feel the show has lost something by not focusing on the character and moving to sort of slightly flashy set pieces rather than continuing with that sort of really good, deep analysis of characters and how they work together and how all that all comes. And they also felt that River was going to be sold slightly short in this one. So I'm less enthusiastic than I was, but I still think it's a great show.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it. But now you've said that, hopefully I will lower my expectation.
I don't think it hurts to lower your expectations slightly of TV shows, because if they're better than what the critics say, great. And if they're not, then you are kind of arriving on that level.
Yeah, true. Part of me also wants to go back and rewatch some of the seasons, if I'm honest, because I forgot. My memory is not too good.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Nothing in games for either of us. That's a poor show.
Yeah, I've not played any games whatsoever. I'm travelling a lot for work at the moment, and I haven't taken my Switch with me, which says something. I've been reading a lot of books, though.
That's a good thing, and also equally, this is my 2nd conference in about 6 days, so I'm beginning to feel the pain as well, so I apologise. And that's, if there's air conditioning noise in this edit, frankly, if we get an edit out at all, I'll be pleased, but that's the reason.
If you get an edit out, I will applaud you.
Let's see how we go. Do you want to tell us about the iPhone 17 Pro then for a main show?
Yeah, so just a brief, what's 6 days look like or 5 days with an iPhone Pro, or an iPhone 17 Pro, should I call it? So I've bought the regular sized iPhone 17 Pro in orange. It's 256 gig. I did debate getting a slightly bigger one storage wise, but I really just use it as the photo cache, and I haven't had my photos downloaded to it for a long time, and they store quite a bit of music on it because I listen to a lot of music in the car. So I've gone 256. I've got it in orange. The orange is awesome, by the way. So good. And I saw the blue today. The blue looks amazing. I kind of like that. If you want something a bit more subtle but cool, the blue is that. I think it's really nice. I think they've done a great job with the colours. It's great to have the option to have a colourful phone if you want that. So really chuffed with that. The 6.3 inch screen, that's marginally bigger than what I had before. I had the 6.1 before. It's a complete non-event. It's not that much bigger. They've done a really good job of shrinking the bezels and increasing the screen size without increasing the overall body. The feel is amazing. They've just slightly rounded everything off, and it just feels really good in the hand. You pull out your pocket, it feels nice. The screen feels a little different. I don't know if it's the protective coating they've put on it, because they've put an anti-reflective coating on it, and it's got ceramic shield too. It just feels slightly different, but it feels really nice. It just feels a really nice device. I'm quite happy having it caseless. I was debating buying a case, and then I thought, well, actually, it'd probably ruin the experience. So yeah, really good. I've noticed the performance seems a lot quicker. Opening the camera, especially switching lenses with third-party apps, just generally seems a bit quicker. It's a really smooth experience with the device. So coming up from a 2-year iPhone Pro to a 17 Pro is really good. I think I've got quite a few improvements out of it. Was it worth £1,000? Possibly not, because it's not that much different. It's just all slightly better. The battery seems pretty good. I'm only charging it to 80%. Because I thought I'd try that out and see if I can prolong the battery, because this will get handed down to a family member at some point. So I'm just trying out, charge it to 80. Can I get through a day? Can I top it up? I have largely been topping it up just because of where I've been in offices or in my car, but seems pretty good. Next up, heat dissipation. I'm not sure about this. When I first got it, did the initial setup, it was hot. It didn't feel any different than my 15 Pro. But I never had the 16 Pro, and a lot of people complain about the 16 Pro being really bad. So I wonder whether that was worse than the 15 that I had. And therefore, all I've got is what I already had. You know, they've just managed to get the heat dissipation back to what the 15 was like. I don't know. But I'm not overly impressed with it yet. But I think I need a bit more time with it.
I mean, it's unfair to judge a phone, I think, in the first few days, because it does all the indexing of your data and things like that again.
Yep, and I agree.
It has to index your photos, does all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you've got that new sexy cool vapor chamber, so that's clearly not doing an awful lot if you're finding it hot. But I think it's not fair you've got to give it a week or 10 days or something like that to let it settle down.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think I need to use it a bit more in general weather conditions and see what it's like. But on the whole, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a beautiful device. I think they've done a good job. It's just a very evolutionary year rather than a revolutionary year, and it was the same last year. So on the whole, I give it a thumbs up. And if somebody's in the market for a new phone, I would 100% recommend this as a good phone to buy. It is fantastic.
Would you recommend it over the standard iPhone 17 though?
The only reason I've gone for it is because I wanted the cameras. I really wanted the zoom camera to play with. I would probably struggle, I think, for most people. The regular 17 is the phone, because you've got the two lenses, you've got the always on screen, you've got a great phone. It's probably £300 cheaper here in the UK. That's probably the phone that the majority of people should get.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. I mean, I'm not going to buy one of these. I got close to picking one up in Dixon's in the airport, or it's not called Dixon's anymore, but it's like First Touch or something in Bristol Airport. They won't let you pick it up off the desk, though. It's on a MagSafe charger. It's bolted to the MagSafe charger, so you can mess with the screen a little bit, but you realise what a good experience the Apple Store is, frankly. When you can feel it in the hand.
Yeah, I think you've had a similar experience to me picking up an Air earlier in the day. Not in an Apple store. You just don't really get to appreciate the design aesthetic. So I think it's a great device. I wouldn't rush to go out and buy one if you're happy with the phone you've got, because I just don't think there's enough in it to warrant the price.
We say that every year, and then we say the base model is the one to go for.
I know, but I don't know. I don't know why I went Pro. I do think actually the base design is really nice. I think they've got a good industrial design on it.
I think if you can justify it, as you do, with the fact that you're into your photography, you want a bit more of a zoom, you might make use of the macro, that's probably fine. I think it's more of a stretch even to go for the Pro Max anymore if the the batteries are as good as they say they are. The Scratchgate thing, I think, is neither here nor there. I mean, I think you need to come back to us in a couple of weeks and tell us what the heat dissipation is like in terms of how warm is it and how well the battery performs, because it's a new phone, it's 2 years on from your last one. The one thing you're probably going to benefit from is having a nice fresh new battery.
Yeah, and I think if Apple made it easier to replace your battery, I think less people would upgrade, because you just go and swap out your battery, wouldn't you, for 50 quid rather than spend 800 quid on a new phone.
Yeah, fair phone for all. No, interesting. And lastly, Apple Care Plus.
I'm just debating whether I should get it, because part of me wants to hand it on to my kids in the future, and should I get it just to look after it? I don't know.
Genuinely, I think if you put a case on it, I wouldn't think twice about Apple Care Plus. But the fact that you're not rocking a case, if that's your decision, then that's the price you should probably pay.
Potentially. It's quite makes it an expensive case though, doesn't it? The Apple Care case is like £200.
Well, spend 50 quid on the case then and hand it over in good condition.
Yeah, I haven't made my mind up yet. I'll see how I get on.
Oh, that's my 2 pence on it anyway. App of the week.
Go for it.
So it's called Knotwords. It's a ridiculous little game by Zach Gage. We've talked about Zach Gage a few times, Ridiculous Fishing, and a few other things as well. He's just a very good developer of things. I think he sold his new app, Puzzmo, to the New York Times, actually. But it's a stupid thing. It's crosswords without the hints, basically. It will give you a grid of letters. You need to remember what it is. On my previous phone, before I had to reformat it in Helsinki, I think I had a 600-something day run or something ridiculous. I hadn't missed a day in forever. It's quite a forgiving game that if you do miss one day, it will let you regain your streak as long as you do the puzzle you missed plus another, I think it's a week's worth of puzzles. And I had got that continuous streak going. But it's obviously been, I think, 87 days since Helsinki, because that's my current streak. So that tells you how addicted I am to Knotwords. It's just a great little game.
My wife used to play this game. She was pretty good at it, to be fair. This is not a game for somebody with, like me, I'm quite dyslexic and I really struggled with this. My brain just doesn't work that way. So I applaud you for your streak, because I know it's something I could never do in this game.
I love it. And I do the simple puzzle every day and I got my streak. And on the old phone, I did the complex puzzle every day as well. But you don't need to test yourself. Well, you do need to test yourself, but it's against you. You're not playing against anyone else. It's your best time for the day, and it tells you about that. And I'm just a big fan. Yeah,
no, it does look cool. And Zach Gage knows how to make really inspired games, I think. Threes is my all-time game on my iPhone, and he made that, or at least designed it, or the concept, and it's fantastic. I think he's got something. He knows how to make you play an addictive game.
Absolutely. Thing of the week.
I'm not going to go on about it, but I think for me, I'm going to stick with the iPhone 17 Pro. I think it is cool. It's a cool bit of tech. And it's a worthy upgrade after a couple of years if you've got some spare cash. But if you haven't, I would wait till next year, because next year is going to be apparently amazing. So it's probably worth waiting for your Fold next year.
Worth a go. I think we call that a show, Chris.
Yeah, I think so. So if anybody wants to get in contact, Rod is at g5maniac@mastodon.scot. He's also on Blue Sky, where he's at g5maniac@bsky.social. I'm on Mastodon, and I'm at _CJP@mastodon.social. You can watch on YouTube by going to the website and clicking on Wake From Sleep link that's there. Or you can send us an email, wakefromsleep@protonmail.com.
Talk to you next week, Chris.
Cheers, Rod.